So let's talk about this in the context of games. Because you hear this, oh, games are all woke. My game got a negative review called it Left for Woke. And so here's Ann Coulter attacking Tim Walz' neurodivergent son for being excited dad's getting nominated to be the VP. Here's supposed family man attacking Ella Ermoff for Kamala and her husband embracing their daughter. Here's a better picture of Ella because she deserves a better picture, not the picture the monster chooses. But okay, so what does this have to do with games? Well, because they're attacking them for being who they are, right? And one of the things that you'll see in games is, at its core, like game design is about experimenting, learning from those experiments, creating and accepting what comes out of that and being inclusive and building on that. Like, not people, I'm talking about gameplay. So then, of course, people are attracted to that as well, who are similar to that, right? Who are not fitting in quite with the roles and the people, the person other people want them to be. And you see this not just in artists, because at first you get this artist, and then we use this horrible term on the spectrum for engineers that are equally creative and different and embrace a different worldview and look at things, but equally as valuable and equally as right, but just not in the traditional artist sense. Again, so I'm an old man. Excuse me if I'm going to get a little rough on some of the terminology and the way I talk about this. Just take this, what I'm trying to say here. But the industry accepts that because they understand that that is what comes out with amazing output. That kind of experimentation, that kind of embracing is what comes and creates at its core games and experiments of what we can do next and not just more of the same, right? And so this is why you want to have this diversity on your team. This is why you want to have these, hey, should we try this? Well, of course you should, right? Like you want to have this going on with this. And then when you see those people reflected back into the things they make, it's only natural. I grew up with the name Chet. I never saw my name on a license plate at a tourist trap ever. I would have killed to have seen that, but I never got to. So if you grew up loving games and you want to see yourself in your game, that is natural. That is okay, right? And so that there's these divide in the world now that we try to act like it's two accepting conversations. One, like if you want to talk about taxes, if you want to talk about like, well, what's this policy on this or that? Hey, go ahead. But it's way simpler for me. In this case, I'm going to use this case as the example, is the Democrats don't have weird kids because those Democrats, they have the output of what being accepting and loving of your children looks like. Now, sometimes they're going to look like everybody else, and sometimes they're not. And everybody else is even becoming a broader thing to say what everybody looks like. Because when I dyed my hair in the 80s, and I used to get beat up for that, you don't get beat up for dyeing your hair anymore as a guy. So, yeah, it's a different world, right? But we keep going. We keep becoming more progressive and be more accepting and more open, and we get cooler stuff out of it, right? I'm selfish. I want to see cooler stuff. But what you're seeing here is the output of a loving, caring family and not scared to express themselves. My mom thought I was weird because I ate artichokes. And who taught you to eat those, right? Again, 70s parenting. I love my mom, don't get me wrong. But it wasn't this. I'd have killed for this. I'm late in the game to making games and expressing myself artistically because that was not in the cards in my family. You weren't allowed to do that. That I'm allowed to come up with the world and create things feels alien to me still to this day. It feels like, who gave me the right to do this? Where other people now get to know that from the core in the beginning and get to start doing that at a really early age. And they're going to be better than me because they have that, right? And so, you know what side I sit on this. But it's like, it's not about the details. It's not about the politics of it. It's just about like accepting and loving each other and trying to help each other, right? Like somehow the most Christian thing is the least Christian thing these days, right? So if you got mad, I just said that. When you pretend that you went to church on Sunday, I hope you have a nice brunch. But like, so when you see this in games, it's not games about being woke or trying to be woke. It's about games reflecting the world they live in and the people who make them. and we should celebrate that.